I think that's something that's like tough to. I think it's tough to feel like on the other side of it. It's like R said something one time to me that he probably doesn't even remember saying, and it's such like a simple point to make, but it's for some reason it's something that like I've always remembered. It was at the festival that I battled Bam at, and I think it was the day after, and I think we went to get like breakfast or something before we got our trains home. And we're in the taxi, and he said something like, "Do you know what like trips me out? That like somewhere in the world, someone is just being Jay-Z." And it's like such an obvious thing, but like if you actually like think of that, is crazy that there's actually like a human being whose lived experience is that like of Jay-Z. But Jay-Z's not like waking up in the morning and thinking like, I'm Jay-Z, this is sick. He's just like, do you know what I mean? He's just like who he is. And I'm obviously not Jay-Z, but the point that you're making is like that I guess the point that you're making is that it would be really cool for like someone else to stand across from me and get the experience of battling me because of the reverence that they hold me in. That's the point that like you're making, right? But like I don't really feel that because I'm just me. Do you know what I mean? I don't see it like externally as like, oh, how I'm so and I make people feel that way. Like, cause I'm just like a regular guy. Because I just like I
feel that then. I'm sorry to jump in, but I have to understand this because it's undeniable the reverence you're held in. It's categorical.
No, I get that. Like I can see other people like hold me in that regard or whatever. But like I don't like, and I don't think many people do hold themselves in as high standing as like other people do. Like because like especially when you're just like. I mean,
unless
obviously,
you've got an out of control ego, then of course nothing's ever good enough. But that obviously that's not what we're talking about here.
But for sure, like when it comes to like battle rap, like I just have like a 9 to 5, and like I have like a normal job, and in every other facet of my life, I'm just like a just completely like normal person, like that. You know, I'm like married, I've got a job, got a house, I play golf. That's it. That's my life, and I'm Jed for 99% like of the time. So I guess I don't really like attach a great deal of my self-worth to something that like I did as a hobby for like 11 years, and I can understand that like I'm not like saying it's a shitty thing for them to do like or a weird thing for them to do to hold me in reverence, because I do it to others. Do you know what I mean? Like I held Bender in that regard and was starstruck by Bender and like Kruger and Ilmac and like Hollow and Pat, like when I met him, and Thesaurus, and like all of these people, like I hold them in extremely high regard and revere them as like idols. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but what I'm saying is that the person who is being revered isn't walking around like Ilmac's not waking up like, oh, it's so sick that I'm Ilmac and I just get to go out about my day and I'm Ilmac, right? He wakes up and he's just Greg, and he goes to the shop and he like picks up fucking sandwiches and gets a coffee in that and just goes about his day. Like he's not. do you understand what I'm saying? I feel like I'm not making this point very well.
I don't remember if it was. It definitely wasn't Simpsons, but I feel like it was an American TV show who said, "The next time you have reverence for someone, just remember they shit." And you go, well, I mean, that's one way of humanizing them, I suppose.
But it's not about. I'm not saying you shouldn't have reverence for other people or that people are like wrong to like hold me in that regard or whatever. I'm just saying that I can't see it from. But like the person that is being revered or whatever doesn't have the. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Like they don't experience it.
I think
they don't.
It's not for everybody that to look. There's. I think it's undeniable. This is a broader thing, but I was planning to ask you something along this line, so we might as well bring it in here just to kind of allow you to expand. Like everyone's encouraged to be a brand on social media these days, even people that aren't influencers, and they're encouraged to believe a certain amount of. Don't post this. If you're going to post it in a certain way. And that kind of encourages people down a line of almost self-aggrandizement and idealization of their own lives in line with what they see. on social media, at least in my experience with some of the younger folks that I work with or interact with. So it is anecdotal. So I just think it's interesting for someone who has a legitimate claim to an amount of greatness that it's not been imparted to you, it was never gifted to you, it was something that you earned through years in a particularly brutal method of entertainment. Because like there are people that I've interviewed within battle rap that can't disclose certain things because they're worried that it gets used against them in a later battle. That must be hard to balance when you're trying to promote yourself, because you're constantly worried about tripping up. So it's not like you didn't earn it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Whereas it's not something you're imposing to, or you're trying to convince people of. It's people that are telling you this.
I guess the distinction I would make, those people who are trying to create themselves as a brand on social media, the end goal is reverence. So like when they get that reverence, they're much more like at ease with it and feel as though they deserve it. Whereas the end goal of my thing was never that. It was just to be like as good as I could be at battle rapping and any kind of, and I do think it is like very like it's not real, do you know what I mean, like fame. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's in a very like small insular community. It's very like the sort of like indie pro wrestling scene where these people that are like, you probably look at them as like absolute superstars, like when you go see them at a show, but really they're just like regular people aside from that, and they do it like as a hobby. But like in that circle, they're like very highly thought of and revered, and that's kind of like battle rap. Do you know what I mean? Like I can go to the shop, no one knows who I am. Like I'm not famous. It's just like,
I want to disagree with you, but at the event I went to, Kruger was stood next to me for about 5 minutes before I turned and went, "Wait, you're Kruger?" And like in that moment, I did get a little like, I really love your Seymour Skinner video. But
yeah, so do I.
You know,
I get that way like with fucking Kruger as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's what I'm saying. I'm saying there's nothing wrong with it, but I'm saying it's not like, it isn't like mainstream fame or anything. We're all just kind of like normal people. And I guess like I might have been more like, I don't know, at ease, I guess, like with any kind of credit that I got, if getting that kind of credit and validation on social media was the end goal. So like if you're trying to make yourself like a brand on social media and the end goal is like fame or clout or whatever, then when you get that fame or clout, you're much more at ease with it because that was the end goal of everything. Whereas me, the end goal was just like being as good at battle rap as I could be, and then everything else was just kind of like I don't really care about that much.